not many people are going to see it, but I wanted to make it anyways. I know that I was supposed to make this video about like the entrance and the, like the whole process of going into Blue Ridge and my packing list and any questions anybody had. But it didn't turn out that way. I decided late to go to Blue Ridge. I did have a little bit of struggle with my planning list, and I just forgot some stuff. I forgot to buy extra water, and there were supposed to be multiple water stations in the camping area from what I was told, but I didn't see those. But the heat was absolutely insane. I felt like I was being drenched with water while I was setting up my campsite, and campsite was really small. There was just a lot of issues with the festival, I believe. I ended up leaving the Wednesday night due to the heat. I'm also diabetic, so, trying to stay hydrated and not, getting really sick. That's something that is a big struggle for me. But in all, a lot of people enjoyed it. I have been going to Blue Ridge since 21. I went in 22 as well, and this would have been my third year going. Since I didn't stay, I didn't get to experience all the chaos that, came along with the weather and the campsites being destroyed. And the water, and a lot of people becoming dehydrated and heat exhaustion, and all of that. So I hope everybody's safe and was taken care of. But I did hear a lot of stories on how there wasn't even water stations inside the venue. There was barely any help. Just from me trying to leave Blue Ridge that night around 10, 11. I didn't leave until about 2. It was just absolutely insane. The whole process of getting into Blue Ridge is you wait in line, you wait in another line that brings you up to check-in, and basically they scan your camping pass on your windshield, and they check your car to make sure you don't have anything crazy in there and everything, you're abiding by the rules for camping. No glass bottles, no liquor, stuff like that, any weapons. But there's only one entrance to the venue, and I think that was probably a big failure, in my opinion. Coming into Blue Ridge, I mean, you're with that amount of people that came in for Tuesday for early check-in, and then Wednesday check-in, it was kind of like a big explosion in a sense. It was just chaotic. They seemed very stressed out and not really sure what to do. Coordinating, I think for them was kind of like a struggle. When I was leaving, the people that were trying to let campers still in at that time had no walkie-talkies, were irritated, complained about how they were not being fed, that they had no break times, some stuff like that. And I was just like, that's absolutely insane. I did experience a rude security guard that was working out there when we were trying to leave. There was I think a group of friends in a car that were behind us. She got sick. She was throwing up. It was just, the heat was bad. It was still really hot at night. And, he basically was like, hey, my friend's sick. She needs help. And he goes, well, she's just throwing up. He goes, yeah, but she could be dying. And he goes, well, is she dying? I thought that was completely uncalled for and really, really rude. But he ended up, coming over and checking on her and making sure she was okay, and called EMS, and they came from the medical tent and helped her back to the tent to make sure she was okay. So thankfully, hopefully, if she sees this, I'm glad you're okay. I hope you're okay. So the guy that was with you, he is awesome for really taking care of you. But in my opinion, for Blue Ridge, I don't plan on going back. In the first year, I enjoyed it, but I also was just really sick, and the heat was getting to me, but I pushed through. But the issue was that all of their transportation kind of dipped. They all quit, and I waited in line for about 3 or 4 hours just to get to the venue. And the next couple of days afterwards, they still didn't have any buses, so I kind of just got with my group, and we walked about 3-4 miles to the entrance of the venue, and it sucked because then we were on our feet all day, and then had to walk all the way back. And I enjoyed the first year, but there was just that issue, and there was smaller issues like that, but they weren't really a bad thing. Year 2, I enjoyed. You're always going to enjoy the festival because you're there for the bands. You're not particularly there for the festival, like in general, like the actual workers or anybody. You're there for you, your friends, whoever you're going there to see. Band-wise, that's like the most important thing. And I think that a lot of people have different opinions on Blue Ridge. A lot of people are like really, really, I wouldn't say obsessed, but they're very dedicated in a way to Blue Ridge, and they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. And I feel like there's a lot of things that need to change. I've experienced Carolina Rebellion. I've experienced Epicenter. That had an issue, but it wasn't like anything major. Overall, they were a really good festival. I experienced Warped Tour as well, and I've experienced Welcome to Rockville in Daytona and Florida. And I prefer a DWP festival. They're very well ran. They're very organized. They're very big on communication with the fans, and I feel more comfortable being there because I know that if I do have an issue, I can be able to talk to security, and they're actually going to have an answer. They're actually going to have like a walkie on them, to contact someone else if they need to. And that is personally my opinion. I absolutely love Welcome to Rockville. And I plan on going to Louder Than Life and Incarceration next year, hopefully, or in the next couple years. I'm going to try and slow down on festivals. I usually go like 2 festivals a year. But overall, I think that a lot of people need to really, really, really look into festivals and prepare a lot when it comes to festivals. I know I read some stories that people came all the way from Australia and the UK and spent thousands of dollars, like $10,000-$20,000, saving up to get all the way over here and all this stuff, and like then it failed. Blue Ridge enjoyed, I think, like the first day, which is camping, which is Wednesday, and was like the pre-party, and then the other day was like fine, and then they canceled a half day and then canceled the last 2 days. So the festival literally, basically, in my opinion, besides the weather being an issue, kind of just took everybody's money. And it seems like a lot of people are just hiding. I see a lot of people on Facebook talking about how they want refunds, and they just aren't, happy with their experience, and they're never going back, and they want it to be canceled. And I totally hear what they're saying, and I totally understand. But if you do not want to deal with stuff like that, Welcome to Rockville, Incarceration. There's Rocklahoma, I've been told. I know there's a lot of other festivals out there, Louder Than Life. I know there is Aftershock in Sacramento, California. Don't quote me, I think that's where it's at. But in all, just be prepared. I would look into festivals, in my opinion, to see how you see other festival goers like opinions on it. So join like Facebook groups, just try and like interact with other people that have actually experienced that. Because personally, I was very nervous to go to my first festival. My first festival was Carolina Rebellion, and that I absolutely enjoyed. I got to see the Five Finger Death Punch, Bad Wolves, Greta Van Fleet, Code Orange. There was just like a ton of bands, and it was absolutely awesome. But I never had an issue with that one either. But I did know someone who had went, and they absolutely enjoyed it. So it's just like, I'll take your advice and attend and enjoy it, and I did. But I wouldn't recommend Blue Ridge. That is just my personal opinion. If you have hard feelings about my opinion, I'm sorry. But I feel like there's a lot of things that need to be changed with Blue Ridge. A lot of better coordinating, about better planning. I feel like they oversold what they were supposed to. I read that they sold over like 10,000 camping spots, and they had no idea where to put everybody, so they just threw them in spots that weren't even prepared for campers. I know that they had an issue with porta potties. There was only 4 to like 3 sections of people, and I thought that was ridiculous. They had bags of ice for like $14, and it was like a 16-pound bag, which, I mean, ice is ice. Ice is just frozen water. But I know I bought one the same size, the exact same logo on the bag, and I bought it for $6. So I know they promised like no price gouging, but that didn't end that way. But anyways, I hope everybody kind of looks forward to having more festivals in their future. Just like I said, just look into other festivals and look into how they're ran, because you'll find one that's better than others, and you'll just find one that's just not. But yeah, hopefully everybody had a great weekend. And if you did attend Blue Ridge and you did have a really, really, really crappy experience, I'm so sorry. But definitely look into Rockville and, any other festival around the East Coast, West Coast, just all across the states. Because I know there's a lot more, and I don't travel very much, so I don't really get to experience anymore. But hopefully all is well. Everybody has a great night. I'm going to try and figure out some more stuff that I can do on here. Trying to break out of my shell, because I'm very antisocial sometimes. But yeah, cool. Hopefully everybody has a great night, and peace.